5-Minute Salute. I'm Shawn Welsh, your host. Today's episode is brought to you by Operation Barnabas. I am here today with Matthew Snyder from RemedyGuard, LLC. Matthew, how you doing today?
Hey, Shawn, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on.
Alex, I'm so glad you were able to make it. I love your product. I can't wait to talk more about it. But let's start first with a little history on your military service.
Absolutely. So after graduating high school, I was kicking around Southern Oregon for a couple of years, just trying to, figure things out. And my childhood best friend was like, hey, I'm joining the Air Force. And I said, okay, let's do this. My mom's parents both served. My grandmother in the Army and my grandfather in the Navy, both during World War II.
Okay.
My father served in the Navy during the Korean conflict. So, military service was never like off the table or anything for me. And when he said that, I was like, okay, yeah, the Air Force. I don't have any family members that had gone through the Air Force, so let's, boldly go and join the Air Force. He had a delayed entry, so it was, me off and running. I was fuels. So, no fuel, no fight. It's sort of tip of the spear for deployments and stuff. So I got treated to, a few different TDYs and a couple deployments. I had signed for 6, got out after 4 after my second, tour. Invisible wounds, things change after deployments, and, I had some issues coping. So I got out and then, transitioned into the civilian life, where, again, I was just left to my own devices, like, figure it out. And eventually, I used my GI Bill to get a bachelor's in computer science.
Okay.
Because, IT is where it's at for a lot of stuff. It's a force multiplier.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And there's a lot of geeky stuff, that I really enjoy with all that. So I got a degree in computer science, and then eventually moved to Jacksonville for a position where I became the IT manager for an e-commerce fulfillment company.
Okay.
And so I helped business owners here locally navigate e-commerce fulfillment and all the intricacies involved in that.
Yeah, a lot goes into that.
Yes, there's a lot of pieces and parts to connect, from all of that.
So, fuel in the Air Force, I imagine that is extremely important. Obviously need that for the plane. So, fantastic journey. So you make it here to Jacksonville. How do we get to RemedyGuard LLC? How did we get to that point?
So a couple of years ago, I was involved in the transition of a similar type of company in lock boxes type of thing. And what I found when I looked around is that at the very base level, the affordable options weren't really there. You think a lock box, it's like, yeah, those are a dime a dozen. I can just pick those up from wherever.
Right.
But that's not true. And when this stuff is missing in our communities, there are things that get out there in the world that we don't want out in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I took it upon myself to start my own company where I could focus on the affordable and getting it out there. And it's not so much as, yeah, sure, a lockbox sitting on a shelf available is good, but it being handed to someone with the message, lock your medication, is infinitely more powerful.
Oh, yeah.
And so I work with organizations like Dornbecker Children's Hospital, Oregon Poison Control, United Indian Health Services, and other organizations that are out there that can distribute this into their community for free to get the numbers down, to reduce overdoses, to reduce the stigma that's involved in being a drug user.
That's awesome. That's amazing. So describe to us, what's the product like? What kind of products are you dealing with?
So I'm dealing with lock boxes and locking bags. The lock boxes are made out of steel, which you don't find a lot more these days. Things have moved into like plastic, MDF, and aluminum. And so if you want, something secure, you're going to want a strong material like steel. Right. And then the locking bags, those are more portable, more personal, and they're primarily used, just to lock it up while you're out in the world.
Okay, that's fantastic, and I'm assuming that the bags are airplane safe.
You can take them, on the plane with you when you're traveling, just like anything with TSA. It's not TSA approved locks because it's not like a master lock type thing, but if you're taking your medications with you, you want them close by anyway. So if there's any issue with TSA, you're there to open the bag.
Okay. Outstanding. Fantastic stuff. Love what you're doing. I want to thank you, Matthew, for coming on 5 Minute Salute today and sharing your company with us and what you're doing to help our community. Absolutely love it. I think it's a great product, and I think it's going to help a lot of families and a lot of service members and veterans down the road. Thank you for joining us today on 5 Minute Salute. I'm Shawn Welsh. We look forward to talking to you next time.
My name is Helena Pugh. I am the founder of Zahara Veterans Network. So I started Zahara Veterans Network because as I transitioned out of the military in 2012, I was encountering so many challenges with my transition, and I realized that there really wasn't an organization that spoke definitively to the issues that impacted women veterans, but also I encountered other male veterans who were having very similar issues to which there really wasn't an answer. So I started the organization so that I can provide information for other veterans, but also put us on the path to start providing those services that weren't being offered.